message, but he's talking to her more than you, and you go home and you start playing some emo. Make it even darker. It's dark. Hey everyone, I am testing out the Pentax 645Z or 645Z, depending where you're from, against the Hasselblad X1D, which Skye is holding right now. You may want to get into medium format if you want the ultimate image quality, and some of us may have to make the decision if they want a DSLR optical viewfinder like this camera or an electronic viewfinder such as what the Hasselblad has. And you most likely probably recognize our model, and can you introduce yourself for those that are new to the channel?
Hi, my name is Skye Baker. Originally from the island of Guam here, but I go back and forth because I live in Hawaii now. So I'm back for the summer and James and I are shooting again. So
Second time this year.
Second time this year.
I believe we shot early January. I think you were the first photo shoot for me.
Yeah.
The year 2019.
Nice.
And this is actually, I believe, your fourth appearance on the channel. Yeah. So since Skye and myself, we know each other pretty well, we can just get right into the photo shoot. I can just start pressing the button and we get really good images. So far, your opinion, and I always like to get the model's opinion when I'm using different cameras, what you think. I did 2 videos with you using the Pentax 645Z. And now you're experiencing the medium format mirrorless camera, the Hasselblad. Do you notice any differences with the images, or are they pretty much the same?
I feel like this one is it's a little bit more sharper, whereas this one you gotta make sure you focus it to get that sharpness. But this
takes
one
a little bit more work.
Seems like it's easier to get that clarity. So, and I like how it's touchscreen.
Yes.
I like that. For people with nails, you know, just zoom in like that.
Yeah.
This one you gotta like
press the button and the scroll wheel to zoom in.
So that's another A+ for me.
Yeah. Okay, we still have, it's summertime, so the sun doesn't set till like almost 7. So we still have a lot of time left, and we have one more outfit change. Again's here, just killing time.
Got it.
Okay. See if I can get some more. There will be more. Okay.
Like a big t-shirt.
Yeah. Oh, very nice. Let me get further back. What I like about the X1D is when I put my eye to the EVF, I set it up where on the left side of the LCD, I am able to move the focus point around, and I can just focus it on Skye's face and take the shot. With the Pentax 645Z, I actually have to use the center focus point because majority of the focus points are within the center of the camera. So I have to focus on Skye's face and then recompose. But here I can just move the focus point directly on Skye's face and take the shot. Some physical features of both cameras. Right off the bat, you will notice that the 645Z has a top screen, which can actually light up green. The X1D does not have any screen at all. All the information is at the back of the rear LCD. Also, the rear LCD screen of the 645Z, as Skye mentioned, is not touchscreen. So when you zoom into photos, you actually have to use the scroll wheel and the D-pad to zoom in to check for sharpness. The weight of each camera is really significant. The 645Z actually weighs about 3.4 pounds or 1,555 grams. The X1D weighs at only 1.6 pounds or 725 grams. So the X1D is more travel friendly, and in a place like this, if you want to get like candid shots, you can actually get away with it. People won't think you're on a professional photo shoot carrying this like huge camera versus this, they think it's a personal camera, but actually the image quality you're getting from both cameras is professional image quality. Image quality I think is pretty much the same with both cameras, but people won't really know if you're carrying a small form factor camera like the Hasselblad X1D.
Okay, is this way?
Okay.
Yeah, I'm gonna get chips.
Some internal features is both cameras, X1D and the 645Z, have the same 44 by 33 millimeter small medium format or digital medium format sensor. Each, oh, Skye's ready. We're not supposed to show her snacking while during the photo shoot, but it's okay. This can shoot about 2 frames per second. The Pentax 645Z can shoot about 3 frames per second. The EVF in the Hasselblad X1D is only 2.36 megapixels, and we're not sure of the magnification. Some say it's 0.77, but the optical viewfinder in the 645Z is really huge at around 0.85, 0.86 magnification. But it's an optical viewfinder, so you may want to get the 645Z if you prefer seeing what's actually in front of you. But this, I noticed when I was shooting indoors inside this place. I'm sorry?
Quality looks good.
Yes, quality looks good either way. But when I look through this, the image seems brighter because it's like a small TV screen inside versus the 645Z. There's no screen at all. It's through the lens. It seems a little darker. But those are the differences I'm noticing about each internal feature for the cameras. Forgot to add that the X1D has about 35 contrast detect focus points, but you can adjust the point to 4 millimeter, I believe, 2.8 millimeter. Sorry, I have some chips in my mouth. Or 2 millimeter. The 645Z has about 27 focus points. They're all clustered in the center, like you saw on the screen. But 25 of them, I believe, is face detect, cross face detect focus points. Like how well you guys interact.
But you know, just because I've gotten so used to like.
Hi, just like that. You can. That's why in California, everyone heavy makeup, eyelashes. Yeah. Man, should I make it just a little bit to your right? Perfect. Some additional things to consider is the battery life of both cameras. This has, it doesn't have an advertised battery life on the Hasselblad website or that I can find online. but just by using this, I can get about 300 pictures from one charge of the battery. The 645Z, I think CIPA rated is about 650 shots. The price of this used, you can get it for about $4,500. The Pentax, which is in my bag right now, because it was getting kind of heavy to carry both cameras, used is about $3,500 right now. So these are some things to consider when looking at both cameras. So I forgot to mention earlier that video both cameras isn't that well because of the sensor capabilities. This one does 1080p at about 25 frames per second. And the one in my bag, the 645Z, does about 1080p at 30 frames per second. But some unique features to both cameras is, of course, the touchscreen in this, the small travel form factor. The 645Z does have a flip out screen that you can flip out. I have it in my bag right here. I should just show you instead of hiding it. And I don't know if you can call this a feature or not, but the top LCD screen that does let you know everything that's going down, what that's happening with the camera, all the settings, instead of always looking at the back of the screen. You'll notice that the 645Z has a more stabilized video. That's because it has electronic stabilization built into the camera. It may be a little bit blurry. I don't think it was focused that well, but it's really up to you which video you prefer, but no one will be using these cameras for video. Feels like I'm on vacation.
I know, I like it.
I'm gonna make it a little bit darker though.
Okay.
So this will be half body shot. Back towards the mirror. Good. All right, we are done with our photo shoot. I think the best thing about the Hasselblad X1D that Skye is using right now is the touchscreen of the rear LCD and the Hasselblad user interface where you can change every setting at the touch of your fingertips. The best thing about the Pentax in your hands, it feels very, very well built. Like you can take it through the jungle, you can take it through extreme conditions. The Hasselblads also, they're both weather sealed, and this camera looks really nice, feels really good in the hands. In my opinion, it feels the best between these two cameras. It feels solid when you first pick it up. You think it's like a solid chunk of aluminum, which it is. At first glance, you think it feels light, but when you pick it up, it has some weight to it. But the Pentax just feels like you can take more of a beating than the Hasselblad. And everything is just visible, top LCD screen. You have all your settings visible, white balance, ISO, if you're on RAW or JPEG. All the buttons outside here is very accessible. Hasselblad is more minimalistic, where they have very few buttons, but it does get the job done. So it's a very hard decision. When I go home, we're gonna look at both files together. And both of the files I know from using both these cameras from this shoot previously, they're very similar in image quality. But like what Skye mentioned earlier, I think there's more detail with the X1D because of the newer lenses that it uses. So it's actually resolving more detail versus the Pentax and its older lenses. Sorry, I'm talking too long, just rambling about both cameras because I've been going through this decision for a long time on which camera I should keep, but I'm actually selling this right now. It's on the market for sale, and I'm leaning towards the Hasselblad. What is your opinion about the whole entire photo shoot, the pictures from both cameras?
Well, I think the photo shoot went great today. A lot of spontaneous locations, which I like, just different for us because we usually shoot at the beach.
Yes.
I think you're making a good decision of keeping this. I think this one's just more up to speed.
more updated with the technology.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I would keep this one too.
I think the main reason is the HUI, Hasselblad user interface. Is just like you're using your iPhone, your Android with the touch screen. Everything is up to date, so easy to use. This is kind of showing its age a little bit, but I think professional photographers that have been shooting for a long time, I don't think they would really care. They just want to get the job done, and most likely they'll just choose this because they know it'll get the job done and it'll last. But same thing with the Hasselblad, it'll get the job done, it'll last. I didn't have any focusing problems with both. This does focus a little bit slower, but I feel like I'm getting more keepers with this because I'm able to move the focus point right on your eye and take the shot. This I have to focus on your eye, recompose, focus on your eye, recompose, and take the shot. So there's no perfect camera right now. Maybe Sony is making the perfect camera with the announcement of the A7R4, but yeah, I'm just gonna stick with this. Skye, for those that are new watching the channel, do you have any social media links?
Yes, I do. It's the same. I haven't changed it. It's Skye Baker, but spelled SKYEBVKER.
Instead of the A, the A upside down like
Someone
a V.
actually asked me the other day if my real name was Skye Baker, and you know, it's not.
I mean, you never know because everyone has unique spellings of names now.
But upside down A as a V.
And as always, thank you so much for always helping me out. This is your 4th time on Guam Photography, and we really do appreciate it. Thank you so much again.
Thank you, James.
You're welcome.
We're out.
We're out. Bye. All right, let's look at some raw files. A lot of Guam photography viewers have been asking me to do the comparison or check out the Hasselblad raw files and Hasselblad's capturing software called Focus, and also to do the comparison and focus. But primarily I'll be using Adobe Lightroom Classic to compare the 645Z against the X1D files. I can show you the difference though. With this raw file, I'm going to make sure I go to develop and just click reset. It's a 3FR raw file of Skye, and if you go to focus software, the same raw file I have here loaded. And I did notice, and you will most likely notice if you're a focus user, if you click reveal in Finder, you will notice that the raw file actually converts from a 3FR to a FFF file. And I do notice the size a little bit smaller at 73 megabytes compared to the 100 megabyte 3FR file. So maybe some compression is going on there with the data. But if you look at them side by side, they're very, very similar in color. And if you zoom in, let me use this tool here to Skye's face and 100%. Use Lightroom to zoom in 100%. You will notice that the Lightroom file may be slightly sharper, and the focus converter, the raw converter and focus, is making the raw files seem a little bit brighter. But the thing I do like about Adobe, if you go to focus and check out the factory color profile, set at standard, embed is import standard by default. But if you go to Lightroom and under color profile, if you choose from camera standard to embedded, you'll see that the skin tones actually are better with the embedded color profile. So let's do that again. Camera standard is kind of dull, and if you choose embedded, it actually becomes a little bit more realistic, a little bit more warmer. So let's compare that again with the focus software. So by looking at both side by side, I actually do prefer Adobe Lightroom's color profile, and Adobe Lightroom's color profile embedded from the camera. And in order to get that, you actually have to enable legacy. I believe it's here, and manage profiles. you just have to check mark legacy, and under legacy you will see the embedded, and I have favorited started, and I can easily choose it from here. So again, side by side, I do prefer Adobe Lightroom, and it's really up to the user of the camera. So let's close focus and let's check out the files in Adobe Lightroom. I'm going to maximize this now. So we're going to go through about 3 comparisons. This is the 3FR file, embedded, nothing has been changed. And the next file I'm going to compare is the 645Z. Let's go to library. I'm going to always make the X1D file on the left hand side. And at first glance, I do notice that the Hasselblad files always shoot a little bit more towards the greenish tint side, and the Pentax files shoot a little bit more towards the magenta side, just like the Fujifilm GFX is always more magenta. I think even more magenta than the Pentax. And just to show you what color profile I'm using for the Pentax, I'm also using embedded. You can do natural, bright, Adobe color, but I'm using the embedded for the comparison. Okay, X1D on the left hand side. So zooming in, just checking for sharpness. The X1D raw files, I can tell you, it is very sharp. There's some motion blur here. Maybe Skye's moving or I'm moving. And I actually do prefer the skin tones from the X1D versus the 645Z. Okay, next comparison. This is X1D file. I'm just going to do reset here. I want to show you the highlight recovery. Reset here. And this is 645Z file. So what I notice is highlight recovery may be better with the Pentax. Then again, the X1D could be overexposed by a little bit, looking at the histogram here. But just to show you, profile again embedded, 645Z bringing down the highlights. I can recover details from the buildings in the back here. With the X1D, again, profile embedded and bring highlights all the way down. Doesn't seem like I can recover that much detail versus the 645Z. Again, this could be a little bit overexposed, so that's just some differences. But dynamic range from both cameras should be very similar. Okay, going to library, comparing both. X1D on the left hand side. Again, you notice with the skin tones, a little bit more magenta with the Pentax. Zooming in on sharpness, you can see right away the newer XCD lenses with the Hasselblad. It is very, very sharp. I've seen a lot of tests online with the 45mm, 90mm shot wide open. They are very sharp corner to corner, even center sharpness is just excellent. The Pentax lenses, you can get sharp photos with them, but I just feel that the Hasselblad lenses are a bit sharper. And I know sharpness isn't everything, but the overall look, I just feel like there's more contrast with the X1D. Okay, let's go to our next comparison. This is an X1D file, and this is the Pentax file. I try to choose similar posing. Okay, nothing has been changed. Everything is embedded. There you go, for the color profile. Okay, I don't want to make this too long. X1D again on the left hand side, Pentax on the right side. Just zooming in, this shot you will notice the 645Z is very sharp on Skye's left eye, and the X1D is sharp on Skye's right eye. But I don't know, for some reason I'm preferring the X1D skin tones versus the Pentax. But what you will also notice is there's more depth of field with the default lens or kit lens with the Pentax is 55 2.8. It is more shallower, and the bokeh with this Pentax, with majority of Pentax lenses. It just seems like it's more filmish, more organic, versus the XCD lenses. It's very clinical, very sharp, very clean. But again, yeah, image quality from both the cameras is going to be very similar. Okay, I did want to show you higher ISO. This is at, yeah, both of them could be at 800. Okay. Make X1D on the left hand side. So both shot at ISO 800. I should have got higher ISO shots for you guys, like 3200, 6400, but I can tell you that with my experience, the 645Z has the cleanest raw files compared to the other medium format systems. So talking about the GFX and the X1D, even at 800, you'll see it's more cleaner. 3200, 6400, it'll be much cleaner than the X1D and the GFX. Maybe there's noise reduction going on within the camera itself with the Pentax. I'm pretty sure there is. With the Hasselblad, the grain is very fine, it is very sharp, and when zooming out, you get a more detailed picture versus the 645Z, which kind of, again, feels more film and organic. Okay, so last photo. This is at ISO 3200, I believe. Just zooming in just to show you the noise. Not bad. And 6400. Zooming in on away. Still very good. A lot of detail you're still capturing in ISO 6400. So if you're watching this video and you're deciding which, I guess, affordable medium format system to get, out of all the three, the GFX, X1D, and the 645Z, I really don't like the Fujifilm GFX at ISO 3200. There's a lot of swirly noise. It's just like, talking with my friends about the GFX, sometimes we feel that the Fujifilm GFX is just like a full frame camera on steroids versus the 645Z, where it really feels like it's a real medium format camera just by holding it because of the size. It's the most affordable system. The lenses you can get with it is very affordable on the used market. The body right now for July 2019, you can get it for $3,000, sometimes even lower if you know where to look. The X1D is the most expensive of the three. The lenses are very, very good, very excellent. If you want ultimate image quality, if you want the most modern look, then get the X1D. But if, again, price is your main concern, I would suggest get the 645Z over the Fujifilm GFX. If price isn't your main concern, get the X1D. I think the higher ISO compared to GFX is better with the X1D. The size also is smaller compared to the 50R, and you can just feel the quality just by holding the X1D and the quality of the lenses. It's a really good system overall, and you can find a lot of used Mark 1s on the market for around $4,200, and the lenses are expensive. Some lenses for the X1D is like $3,000, $2,000, but you just gotta know where to look and get the lenses used on the used market. Thank you everyone for watching Guam Photography, and please subscribe.